to tell you a story. Simply, this person I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to mention his name, but you know the person. You know it. And when I finish this live, I will call you and tell you who the person is. Samaria, you might not know the person, but I will tell you who the person is. He called me one day. He said he has children in the UK, that he has lost his children, that he wants to come back to Nigeria and have one son that he will kill.
It's normal.
Now, let us allow my brother, please, everything you said on TikTok, I beg you in God's name, say it again, so that we can have it on record, because you spoke Babanla wisdom.
Okay, what I'm saying is this. All along, my dream is to come to Western world, and the only reason why I want to come here is because of my kids. I want them to have access to better education, better life, and everything. Even though me too, I desire that. But I discovered that since I've been here, I always travel back to Nigeria 1 time, 2 times. My spirit and my soul, my body is in Nigeria. I discovered that I'm making money here. A lot of money, by the way. At least I'm living comfortable. I'm not rich. I'm not poor. But I can take care of my business. And I think that's okay for me, because I'm contented with whatever I have. I was able to give my children the best I can do for them with my level as an immigrant, for them to go to college. But I discovered that I've lost them to the system. Really, I'm not sure. I don't know. Things may change tomorrow. If they can come to Africa, I'm not sure. Because the story that is emanating from Nigeria is not encouraging. The news there is not encouraging. And even they've lost touch with all their friends. They've lost touch with even the family, even family member. Most of them don't even know me. Some of my family member again. Even when they say, "Oh, who is this? Who is that guy? Who is that guy?" I took out of this place. It's not out of 15 years. Why are you not talking as if you don't even know where Africa is? You know. So I discovered that they are lost. I have everything I can think of in Nigeria as I'm talking to you. I don't know a Shebang out of it. Shebang, and I'm not sure they will even know anything until I die. And I can tell you for free, this is the fate of most Africans that brought their children, that have family here. Even some of us that are here. I'm telling people, I used to tell people, if you don't go to Nigeria after 10 years, you are finished. If you are living abroad, and you are not going back to that place, because you cannot fit in again. There's no way you will fit in. It is all this all this soaking with your nose. That's all you will know. And I want to also say it. People make money. I'm not dishonest. People are making money in abroad. But I can tell you the loneliness in abroad is compared to nothing.
I swear, now me supposed to buy you money gone.
Yeah,
Baba, you don't, as in, and nobody keep talk again after you talk.
Yes, the loneliness in this place is crazy. Money every day, we make money. Listen, Daddy Freeze, we make money every day. Anybody that goes to work, just 8 to 9 or 9, whatever time you go to work in abroad, it's money. It's per hour. You see the money, you spend the money. But really, I must confess, I don't know everybody to enjoy their own money, but really do we enjoy the money? Me, the only way I enjoy my money is when I go to Nigeria. That is the only time I enjoy my own money. I don't know about you. Some people, they may go to the Caribbeans, they may go to wherever they want to go to, but I don't even want to go to that place. I really want to go back to Nigeria. And that's why I feel free and I enjoy every little sweat that I've put together all these years. Now, what am I saying? When I think of the lost generations, you see, I cry for myself. I cry for my generation. I cry for those that are even coming, because who is going to take care of our fatherland? Our case is going to be like the Israelites when they were driven away, until it gets to a time that all of us want to come back. But before that, you know how many generations that will have lost totally. And we are losing them right now. Some of them don't even know anything about our culture, about anything. They don't even know. I used to tell my kids, I said, I'm going to die in Nigeria. I'm not going to die in this America. I will die in Nigeria. And nobody should bury me in this. I will not even die here. If they like, when they kidnap me in Nigeria and I will die there, I don't care. If not, if they kill me, I'm not afraid of death anyway. So, like I think we just need to revisit. We need to look at this issue of abroad in different angle. Personally, I used to tell people, if you have opportunity of coming abroad, come abroad. Come and make money. Come and live a better life than what we have in Nigeria. But like you said, if Nigeria is good, how long are we going to wait for Godot? How long are we going to wait before Nigeria is good? Our generation is finished already. When it comes to Nigeria, even the one after us is finished. When it comes to issue of Nigeria, even the one after us, 2 generations after us is finished when it comes to issue of Nigeria. So when are we going to wait for? How long are we going to wait for before we can eat, before we can sleep, before we can buy a car? No, I don't know how long we are going to. And that is the people we are definitely continue to move abroad. We can't stop people from moving abroad. We can't stop people from taking their children abroad. And we can't stop them from enjoying their life abroad. But for those who are lucky, I reacted to your statement the other time. You only talk about people that make 5 million, 10 million. That is 130 million are living under poverty. That is not a country to me. No matter how poor in this America, especially if you are immigrant, especially if you are from Nigeria, if you have an opportunity to go to school and America, even if you don't have opportunity to go back to school, you will still live comfortably. You have a choice where you want to live. Either you want to live in the slum, in the hood, you have a choice. Either you want to live in a relatively good place, you have a choice. Either you want to live in a urban area or suburban area, you have a choice, depending on what you are doing in America. So in a country where somebody has a choice of what you want to do, I don't think there's any more freedom than that. When you have a choice, if I want to, like me, some people, they go to Walmart to shop. Some people, they go to, and the same thing, they go to Publix to go and buy it. And some people go to other places that are expensive. You have a choice of buying the same thing in different shops. Those are the things I see. I don't see anything that is more than freedom than when you have a choice to do what you want to do. You go to the shop, you can buy any car you want to buy. A new car for that matter. It doesn't mean whether you are poor or you are rich. You see, those choices is not something we can buy with money. And we don't need to compare Nigeria with overseas or with abroad. It's not comparison. The only thing I know is that Nigeria is good for our spirit. It's good for our soul. It's good for our person, because that is where we come from. We cannot deny that fact. Now let's talk about this issue of second citizen or third citizen. I responded on your show that, look, most of us, we don't even have class in Nigeria. We are not even a citizen, because when you qualify what is meant to be a citizen, that means the government is responsible for you. That is the meaning of being a citizen. That means you have something that the government is doing for you. There is a benefit you are enjoying from the government. They give you good road. They give you good health care. That is the meaning of, and when anything happens to you, your government will respond. That is the meaning of citizen. So even in Nigeria, I'm telling you, we don't even have class. We are not even a citizen of that country, unless we are just deceiving ourselves. So
now, hold on. Let me say some things here, because I'm also going to speak from experience. Yes, my father came from a poor home in Nigeria, but he was a brilliant guy. My father was a top, a straight A student from when he was in primary school. He started primary school at 12, but because he skipped so many classes, he was able to catch up with his mates. They didn't send him to school on time, so they finally sent him to school at 12. But they put him for the class. They said, "Baba, you don't hold past this class." They move on good. So he kept having double promotion until he got to secondary school. I'm going to tell you my father's personal story. Now, my father grew up in Ghana. He went to Tema Secondary School. So just before his final exam, Nigerians were driven out of Ghana. And my father's family happened to be a victim of this Ghana, Nigeria must go, if you put it like that. So they were loading the bus so that the whole family can come back to my village, or you know. So my father asked his mom, asked my grandmother on the bus, he said, that when we go back, how will he do his exam? Now one person just use, you know, Nigerians can be very staggering. Exam. There is no exam for you. Say, now for farm, you will go walk. So my father got down from the bus and took his suitcase and told his mother that let him stay back in Ghana, at least let him finish his exams so that he can have something to show for all his life that he has gone to school. So my grandmother put her hand in her pocket and everything she had, she gave it to him and said, oh yeah, I leave you behind. My father went to his school. This was like a month before the major exam and was sleeping in the classroom. The school was not boarding school. He didn't have where to sleep. So they had toilet to go there and bath, wear his clothes, and come and sit down in school. Before you know it, half of the school had joined my father to come and sit in the school. Because he was teaching them. So this one will come, will bring that their pepper that they fly in Ghana. This one. So they were living as a community till they finished their exams. The day my father wrote his last paper, he carried his portmanteau and went to the beach where the ship that was bringing, the final ship that was bringing refugees from Ghana to Nigeria was bringing them back. That's how my father found his way back to Nigeria. Begged people, he hitchhiked, found his way to the village. It was in the village that my father's result came a parallel. They can't send him go to Lagos. Say, with that result, whether he will see any opportunities. My father started walking from embassy to embassy with leg, from a house to the Wakago American embassy, the Wakago. That's how they told him that they are doing scholarship in Hungarian embassy. He went to the Hungarian embassy. They said 5 minutes before somebody had picked the last form. Bros, please mute your mic so that they can hear me well. She thought pepper, that's the Ghanaian pepper where they talk about. God bless you. So while my father was heartbroken, because he don't work at the whole embassy, they look for scholarship. One person won't call and say, Romania, they give scholarship. Say, Romania embassy, they down the road. So make it just waka go there, whether if he get luck. So my papa go there. She say, the truth, they give scholarship. Now my papa buy their form, do their exam, tear their exam. Now so my papa take get scholarship to go Europe. My father went to Romania. Now, those days, the Nigerian passport was very good. He did not need visa for the UK. He did not need visa for Germany. So he went to Romania for 7 years to study medicine. 7 years. Top of his class. One day, I did do poor for school. My papa carried me go Romania. I think I was in secondary school then. One day, my papa just vexed with me. Say, like, say my head, not just one correct. He carried me go Romania. Go meet a professor. We teach him medicine. The professor see me. Tell me, say, my father was his best student overall. Guess what? The day my father wrote his last paper in Romania, he tell my mama, say, they go back in country. Do you know the kind of opportunities my father had? A Romanian trained doctor that has a passport that can enter the UK. Is it not to enter the UK and go and be working and then start their exam there? He had the opportunity to go to Germany. Romania then was suffering because it was Eastern Bloc European country. But he was not suffering the Romanian suffer because he had a Nigerian passport. All he needed to do was buy tickets and go to the UK and tell my mother to come and meet him in the UK. He'll say, write paper here, write paper there. Eventually, Mama and us will come join her for the UK. He would have been a doctor in the UK. You know what my father did? My father came back to his country. Do you know why? Because his country was sweet. Today, I doubt if my father would have come back. He came back. Government gave him a duplex in Oshogbo as a houseman. You know what? A first year a doctor who's working for his first year. He had a duplex with compound in Oshogbo. By the time my father was transferred to Ibadan, he moved to Ibadan. Government gave him a brand new 504.
Who was the president
deducting from his money.
Who was the president then?
Shehu Shagari. I remember very well. I remember when my father brought his 504 home as a young doctor. He could live well in Nigeria. He got car loan and he paid the car loan from his salary as a junior doctor. With, at that time, my father didn't, when my father came back to Nigeria, you did not need a British visa. I'm not talking of, we don't even need visa to go to the UK because Nigeria was Commonwealth. So we had no visa issues. But my father came home. Sometimes we regret this decision on his behalf because he was such a brilliant student and he's a great doctor. But when he came to Nigeria, he came at a time when Nigeria started going down. After this, how Nigeria will go down a little, it will stop. Then it look like everything is okay, then it will go down a little. Then it will stop. Then look like it's okay, then go. And each time it will keep coming down. The 80s were worse than the 70s. The 90s were worse than the 80s. Year 2000, from 2001 to 2010, was the only time Nigeria looked like it was going to rise back again. Thank God for Yaradua and everybody else that followed. Nigeria went back again. So me, I am telling you, my dear brother, that if you were too poor to get an education in Nigeria, like my father was, and you're able to get an education abroad, the moment you go abroad, you will come back to Nigeria if Nigeria is good, because Nigeria had prospects for you. That time, my father's friends that went to study in Russia, they all came back. Very few of them stayed back. They came back with their Russian wives.
But Daddy Freeze, you know, a lot of them were sent, they were, how do I say it, collectively sent overseas to go and study. My
father was not collectively sent. He was sent by the Romanian
Daddy Freeze.
Is that, am I correct in
yeah.
that? A lot of them were
some people were sent
abroad.
Overseas. Then when you come back, you come and help them develop the state.
Daddy Freeze.
My father, on his own luck, he won a Romanian scholarship. And he could have continued staying in Romania or moved to the UK, which was down the road. Do you know ticket from Romania to the UK is $200? That's how cheap it is. It's like Nigeria to Ghana. Nigeria to Ghana is even more expensive. So I'm trying to tell you that at that point, they all came back home because what they wanted abroad was that education. And the moment they got that education, they came back home. But you see that now, education is like, that's what Tiamiyu said. Education is a road out of Nigeria. Once you get that, say they give you opportunity to come read master, almost from there, you don't japa.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't blame them. I blame our government that ruined the country.
Exactly.
And I blame religion. But here is my point again, my dear brother. With what you have seen abroad, if Nigeria improves, by improve, I mean security situations are solved. Electricity is 24 hours. Education and healthcare are at least standard. Will you not come back?
No, even with all these shenanigans, I'm still home. Everything I have is home. I wanted to come back home. I'm thinking of going back home, but do you know the problem? You see, we are losing on both sides. And this is the things I want people to understand. We are the way I said, most of us, when we come here, you train your children, and you lost your children to the system. By the time those of us that want to go back home, do you know what we are going to lose? We are going to lose the fact that your children cannot come back to Nigeria to come and say, hi, Grandpa, let me bring my children and say hi to you. Do you know that is that's going to be so miserable when your children cannot come back. Either Nigeria is bad or is good, or me, I'm going back to Nigeria. By the grace of, I'm going to die in Nigeria. But I'll be more miserable if my children cannot come back to me and come and say, hi, Grandpa, let us come and stay and enjoy one year with you. I know I say 1 year, 1 month with you, 2 weeks with you. That is another sad reality that is facing us. Especially those of us that want to
let me tell you, sir, excuse me. You see, the blogs or the bloggers or whatever they are called, and the movie, the movie industry. They are contributing factors to this. For example, my nieces and nephews in UK, their last visitation was in 2017, 2007, 2008. My sister, she hasn't been home in years, and she's trying to go home, anytime soon. But the kids don't want to go. They are grown, 18 years, 19 years. They don't want to grow. Reasons. They watch Nigerian movies on YouTube and all the rest of them. They read the news. And they just tell you it's not safe. They just bent on telling you a lot of things that go wrong back home. They see on a social media.
The question is, even with you yourself, even the woman, do you think the woman can confidently say, let us go?
Yes, they were not born in Nigeria. That's the point. They were not born in Nigeria. But the things they see online is scary.
Yes.
The news, the image we portray out there is scary.
It's not about the image, my dear sister. Don't let us model this thing up. Nigeria is not good. Everybody knows it's not good. Things are difficult. Things are terrible. Don't let us paint it. Don't let us pamper it. You understand what I'm saying? Things that are not good in Nigeria are not good. Things that are not good in abroad are not good.
But it's not saying that. Let's be real with ourselves. Listen,
there is no way you will paint. Listen, there is no way you will paint a peak. And we don't go back to the mud. Paint Nigeria. Paint all the pictures you want to paint. Even America, with the painting they give to us with the Nollywood that we see, by the time you get here, you know that there are some things that are not right.
I'm selling everything now, so that's an extra 12.
So there is no amount of painting.
Oh, you're saying it is whole receipt, just everything I'm going. If they catch me to look at me.
Anywhere that is not good, it's not good. So that is the reality.
I'm doing it now. Thanks.
If you cannot only take your children back to your country and feel safe until you get a police, even with police officer, you see the news emanating from that place every day. It's depressing. For a sane mind, it's very depressing. When
okay, look at what is happening in, where is the Anambra also? I saw. And those things are going on. The law enforcement is not doing anything about it. The people, everyone is calm about it. It's just, I don't know, but
nobody wants to go.
No.
Nobody. It's not about pain. Until we change the political situation in Nigeria, where those who really have mind. You see, we have it.
Now, let me ask you a question.
There's a lot of potentials in Nigeria than America.
Let me ask you a question. Sorry, sir. Let me ask you a question. If you were to earn 10 million naira a month in Nigeria, will you come back home and live in Nigeria?
I don't even need 10 million naira. With 3 million naira, I'm okay. I don't need 10 million naira. Because I have everything I needed in Nigeria. Everything. So with 10 million naira, I just need to sleep and eat. And what else? I'm not so terrible. With 3 million, I'm okay.
Oh, it's okay with age, sir. Sorry, sir. With age, it's normal. As you mature, as you age, you want to go home.
What do I need?
Overseas is not for the elderly, it's for the young.
No, let me tell you something. If you are about 40 years of age and you go abroad, you are, unless because of your children, you can sacrifice anything. After 40 years and you come abroad, you put yourself in serious trouble. I don't know if everybody, I don't want everybody to agree with me, but when you are 40 years abroad, above, and you come abroad, hey, Jesus Christ. What type of life? Number one, your accent will never change. Your culture will never change. Your mentality will never change like that. Until you now immerse yourself. Before everything changes, you will have spent maybe 15 years, 20 years, not going to Nigeria, not that you will be going and coming back, because you still have that mentality. But when you are here, you immerse yourself in the system for 20 years.
Someone I know said the beauty of village, living in the village, is the fact that you open the door and you hear people quarreling and fighting in the villages.
Baba, I don't lie. Let me
I don't stay in Lagos when I come to Nigeria.
I go to Ibadan, in Aremo, Ibadan. I swear to you, forget this Lekki where they stay. I'm an Aremo boy. Let me break this down to you. This Lekki where they stay. Fine, if I go to Aremo now, I might not be able to blend in again.
You won't. It's the same thing like people that come to Lagos.
But
they cannot blend.
My best memory, if I sleep now and I dream, I did see myself for Aremo, not before Nigeria. Oh no! If I
that's the Ibadan in you. That
If I
river
drink,
is
you
good.
drink. Baba, you don't know Harimo. You know when they carry spoon, put for your pocket because where they sell a go, they don't get spoon.
Yes.
You will not put spoon for your pocket. They get plate, but they
Oh
don't
my
get spoon because
God.
my hand you go take
You
chop am. And I
cannot
don't
beat
like to
it.
chop a go
Oh
with
my
hand.
God.
Baba, now so they go the go. Say, give me a go, give me beans. Error. No worry about the meat.
I'm on a toga.
Yes.
Let me tell you, get one place. Every time I chop amala there, I must get typhoid. I go get typhoid. I go still go there the next time. Go see chop the amala.
Amala. They will pack it like this. Even if
Baba,
you give them 20 naira amala. Your body is like this.
I lived in Arimo for 10 years. There were times when for 6 months we don't get light. But that 6 months we don't get light. Now vibe. I remember my cousin Rashid. I give you Arimo gist. As in, if you live in hood, you don't feel on all this lucky. Baba, it took me a long time to blame though. Luckily, I stayed in 1004. So 1004 they bubble. So it helped me. If to say I come from that Arimo straight to this kind of lucky, I for depressed. Arimo. Hey.
Yeah.
We don't get light. I get my cousin there, Rashid. He will not tell me, say, if they go watch the movie. For night, which movie that they show have Mojo. Now, so, let me tell you how, I think, Baba, let me just give me 1 minute, let me explain Arimo to you. I was St. Peter's Church, Arimo, was next to my house. Then, Pentecostalism was just entering Nigeria then. So, one church down the road, don't begin waiting, they call the show. For middle of the night, they will just begin to pray. Then they go put loudspeaker outside. So whatever the pastor they preach, or whatever prayer you would hear clear for your sleep, where you sleep, noise pollution.
Noise.
So now the church now say this Pentecostalism don't teach their crowd. Now so Anglican church to begin their own show, them to put speaker outside. So you will begin to hear the war of the preachers. This one will preach, say money is evil. The next person say without money you are nothing. So only you go sit down for their middle. Money is evil. Without money you are nothing. As if you go do like this, you won't run mad. This lasted for about 3 months. The former barber shop, where they opposite my house, it can't turn to like hangouts. Then for Friday nights, they can't turn out to one fellowship. Then to buy megaphone, put outside. So you go sit down, you will hear 3 different messages. This one they speak in tongues, this one they preach against money, this one they preach supporting money. Only you did the middle, only you there. At that same time on Friday, Bayou Cinema, I don't know if you're still in Arimo. If you grew up in Arimo, you go know Bayou Cinema. Bayou Cinema too, they show movie. To attract customers, waiting that they show for that movie, you go put megaphone outside. So everybody will hear the movie when they watch. If they show Titanic, will they hear? But on Friday, nah, Mojo that they show. So let me tell you how Friday night sounded in the hood. This set, the one where they face my house, that they speak in tongues. While they speak in tongues, one person they say, money is the devil. The other person say, money is the way God uses to bless you. So you be hearing, money is the devil, money is what God uses to bless you. In the same time, you hear, then you see, man. Then you'll be hearing the combination of these 3 till 5 a.m. in the morning when Muslims will join them. Allah.
Oh my God.
So those ones they call prayer. So you're going to hear, hear this. Baba,
No wonder we actually have like some level of aversion to religion in Nigeria because you grew up with all this noise and
everything.
For food, you go just gather see that they pour petrol for person, they won't light a fire. Waiting you are OG Maggie. It is Maggie food. Baba, hood. So once you grow up in that hood, Baba, for Baba 12 midnight, you don't look say food no day house. Person where they say more still day. person where they sell akara still day. Then if you don't get money, you go meet the people where they sell akara. You go say share like when they put akara inside fire, you know, as they put them, the spoon they drip.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So that small drip go roast one small particle of akara.
Lagos people we don't know all of this, Daddy, please. Lagos people don't understand. Samaria is different.
They fry akara from my house, I beg.
No, they fry akara.
Now.
You know, as they carry the akara, they put the akara go they drip. So when they are selling it, they don't sell those crumbs. So they just sell the akara, one akara.
Yes.
Then when they are done, they will now pack the crumbs, put somewhere. So those ones are for the poor. Inside poverty place, you get waiting to be poor people own. So you go just go there say, if you don't get money, instead of buying 3 akara, you also make they give you a room, the room go plenty. So you just they chew up like chin chin. Baba, as in hood na vibe. But the only problem I have with the hood is it will trap you in. It would be good if I was earning 5 million naira a month and I was living in that hood. But the hood will trap you in, will drag you, and you start thinking like them. Before you know it, you'll not be able to live.
Yes.
You will not be able to get out of that.
That's true.
That hood. But Baba, let me tell you something, eh? My mom is Romanian and I lived a bit in Romania too. But I don't pray to ever leave Nigeria. I don't pray, apart from going on holiday. And let me tell you something. I'd like to correct all of you. I have a Romanian passport. I don't need a visa for Canada. What I need is what you call an ESTA. I will get it in 5 minutes. My ESTA is still valid till this year. I collected it in 2019. It cost me £5. I did it on my way to the airport. I just called my sister. I said, yeah. I don't forget. I don't get Canada visa. My sister said, no worries. I'll get it for you. Between my house and the airport, I'd gotten the visa. Inside the taxi, ask my sister. So I am in Nigeria not because I don't have a choice. I am in Nigeria by choice. That makes me different from 95% of the population. My younger sister is the same. She has the same Romanian passport. Her daughter. Let me tell you how bad Romania is. When there was
COVID, I want you to reconstruct your statement. You are not in Nigeria by choice. You are in Nigeria because it's comfortable for you. As at now.
It's comfortable. No. Yes, it's comfortable because, but also, I love Nigeria. If I was really poor and struggling, I would also leave Nigeria for financial reasons.
Good.
But as long as I can feed myself and my family, I'll rather be here. And I'll explain to you here. If I want to live, I'm sure that if I come to Canada as a Romanian and I'm allowed to stay for 3 months. Within that 3 months, I can begin to arrange myself. Before you know, I don't jack back from Canada. My sisters, when they left Nigeria for Romania, for UK, they just went to UK. As far as they got in, they did not even need work permit, they didn't need anything. As long as they had a Romanian passport, before you knew it, they were absorbed into the system. It was like that. Now it's different because of Brexit. But what am I saying is, I don't pray for the day when I will become so poor or Nigeria will become so bad that I'll have to leave.
Amen.
I don't pray for that day because it will be 2 things. Nigeria has degenerated so bad that they come bust you for house, beat you for house. You understand that kind of thing? It has become totally unlivable. You are risking your life. Then I know that I have no choice, or that I have become so poor and there's no way I can feed myself or my family. Then let me just leave so that I can go and at least be able to eat 3 square meals. I pray that day never happens. That is why, as much as possible, you will never hear when they are rioting and that the is telling them, yes, go fight for your right. Please, if you want to fight for your right, fight for it by yourself. I will not join you inside.
You see, Daddy Freeze, you see what you are praying for is because you are okay. And you must be 0.005% of the population of Nigeria that can be on this level and can relate on this level you are relating. Most people cannot even think of it. Why? Because are not in that position. Those people living in Ekiti, people living in L0st, people living in Abuja, people living in Port Harcourt, and they don't have access to. You are even confined to your Lekki, or where do you live in Lagos? You don't even go to Agege. You don't even go to Agege. You don't go to Yanapaja. You don't go to Akute. You don't go to Mowe. So you are comfortable in that area where you are. But what is the fate of those people in those areas? If they have the opportunity, they will jackpot. Personally, I will always tell people, if you want to jackpot, because it's good for some people, it's good for their sanity. It's good for people, some people's sanity. We cannot continue in that level. Yeah, but some people are finished. When we go, some of us, when we go back to Nigeria and we start interacting with people in Nigeria, you'll be wondering, what's wrong with these people? What's wrong about
can I say something though? Can I say something? Can I say
if you're watching on
something?
TikTok, double click my screen. TikTok people.
You know what Daddy Prince said?
TikTok people, now only you and I send this night to Holaide, my #1 gifter, and my #2 gifter on TikTok. Holaide, I do 1 and 2. I think my eye depend me. Timmy Lane, my #1 gifter. Oh yeah, pop those gifts on TikTok. GG Louise, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And somebody else send me some money. Let me just give him a big shout out. Let me give him a big shout out on YouTube. Same YouTube where some people they misbehave, some people they try. Hey, make I just hail them. I beg, no vex, Mama Tuzi. Make I just hail my YouTube people because they try. Yes. Red Hill Zulu sent me $20. Thank you so much. Said Daddy, please, you are a brave truth teller. It's Shea brother me. Love it. Send those super chat, super stickers. We're having fun right now. If I offended you, my abroad, I do not mean to offend you. It's just that sometimes the truth can be offensive. You could have no vex. But this thing where I tell you, you know saying that true. So if you're watching on Facebook, send me those super chats, super stickers. I love you all. If you're watching on Instagram, go to Facebook. Search for Daddy Freeze, DADDYFRWE. You scroll down to today's video, you see how to buy these stars. That is on Facebook. TikTok. Keep sending those gifts. I'm looking for my #1 and my #2 gifter. Double click that screen. I have 39,000 likes. Let's take it to 50K. Now. My #1 gifter is still no other than the great Olamide. And my #2 gifter is no other than Tokwe Tosin on TikTok. You know I love you, my TikTok people. You guys are amazing. Double click that screen. Double click it. Oh yeah, double click it. Let's go to 50,000 likes. Now. Folio, shake on. So
can you mute your mic, please?
Ross, please mute your mic.
All right, so I've been watching and I was like, okay, I was just laughing, of course. If you say 90% of Nigerians that left, they jackpot for financial, and I said, well, I'm not one of the 90%. I'm one of the 10%, because I came here young for undergrad, and my father never intended for me to stay. He wanted me to get my education and bring myself back to Nigeria. The only way I was able to get around it was because I kept going to school. I'm a learner. I love to go to school. So I went back for another degree. When I finished my first one, I said I'm still doing some courses while I was doing my first one. I doubled major, and I was taking some extra classes that I want to finish that. And I went back to school. So I've been going to school. And of course, now I have kids. But if you wake me up like this and say, Yetunde, we have a job for you in Nigeria today. You'll be paid this. Are you ready to go to Nigeria? I will be back in Nigeria. Everybody that knows me knows that. I've been in America for over 20 years and I am tired. Like, people think when we say it, people don't believe it. I can show you my LinkedIn. I'm looking for a job in Nigeria. Even though I know that what I will earn there might not be what I will earn here. To tell you this, let me tell you, my sister-in-law, she and her husband, they are pharmacists. They were schooled in UK, they lived in UK. They went to school too when they were pretty young. So they met in school, they schooled in UK and everything. But when they have kids, our husband's father have a company. They are doing very well in Nigeria and everything. And they relocated to Nigeria because the husband is the only son. And, so he will be taking over from his dad, but he has to work first for the company. And they are in Nigeria. But do you know, she's considering going back now. She herself, with the kids, without the husband, going to UK. Reason is this. For our kids, the money money they pay for tuition in Nigeria, it's absolutely ridiculous and outrageous for the quality of education I'm getting. Because my daughter goes to a charter school here in the United States. What she's learning there is not even what they are given for millions that I'm going to be paying for school in Nigeria. That is a fact. And so a lot of us, when Mr. Topper was saying that if you give him 3 million, he will come to Nigeria, he's not lying. Because what is chasing a lot of people from coming back, why they consider it, like you said, Samaria, security. That is very important. Because no matter how much you want to pay me, if my life and properties are not secured, I would not come back there. But if you are living in America, you are in the same boat now. I can't go to the shopping. Okay, 4th of July, we will go watch the fireworks. But you know, because we were so terrified, just 15 minutes drive from me, last month, there was a mass shooting at the mall here. Just going to the mall to shop and I don't come back home. You can imagine that. The hospital that was next to my hospital in December, somebody went in there. The baby girlfriend was having a baby. He shot the nurses on the
them all over the world.
Exactly.
Just there are peaceful countries, but it's the same.
They are peaceful countries. Exactly. So Nigeria, as much as we can say security, at least in Nigeria, I cannot guarantee, though we know that security is bad in Nigeria too, but there are some areas also that you can be in Nigeria, you can feel at least a bit at ease that, you know what, I don't have to watch my back and everything. The truth is, when I go to Walmart now, my husband is always telling me, like, when you go to Walmart, make sure you pay attention. When you see somebody with some bulky clothing, you might want to pay attention, which is true because that person might be carrying a gun. In the state of Texas, for example, it's even worse. Now that everybody can carry gun and it's open carry and you can carry whatever you want and nobody can challenge you for it. So the security is there. And then when you're talking about women leave because of, oh, they are women rights, they have rights. Even in the United States now, how much rights do I have as a woman? If I have a right that has been taken away by the Supreme Court saying I don't have the right to decide what happens to my own body, then what is the rights per se that we are talking about? So a lot of things comes into play. Yes, when Mr. Tokpe said our children get lost here, it also depends on how you treat your kids from the get-go. My daughter was just 1 year and 2 months when she's been going to Nigeria with her grandma, without me. Her grandmother takes her and they go to Nigeria for months. And now my kids love to go to Nigeria. Summer, we said every summer they will be traveling if they can. This year they didn't go. Since COVID, they've not gone because COVID, my mom too was here. Nobody could travel anyway. So this year that she was going, I was like, she has some school stuff that she's going to do, so she's not traveling. But they want to even go because I tried to say, I don't want them to forget because I know I'm not going to die in America. I'm going to Nigeria. So I want my kids to be comfortable coming to Nigeria, comfortable knowing that Nigeria is their second country, that they are Americans as much as they are Nigerians. So they have their Nigerian passport. Me, if I can't find my Nigerian passport, it's lost. So, but, that's the thing. So we are overseas, as much as I agree with you, Samaria, about what people put out there on social media that makes it scary. Do you know, okay, let me tell you this. My MBA class, Mr. Tope, my MBA class, they were considering which countries will go for our international business class. And we had the option between Germany, Israel, and then they picked South Africa. And I was like, why South Africa? I said, Nigeria is the largest economy on the continent of Africa. If we're going to be going anywhere, we should be going to Nigeria. This is because 2 weeks prior, I had already we did a consulting on e-banking and all of this. And where the money is in Nigeria. Where the unicorns are in Nigeria. So I had to fight tooth and nail because I had to justify the reason why Nigeria is where they should take the business if they're going to take the business. So I already know all of this because I don't want them to think I'm being biased. So, but the one thing that everybody is talking about, security, they have to concern about security. Even when our class voted and we still ended up picking South Africa, guess what? The white people there were still saying, oh, they riot there. Meanwhile, this is the same time they were burning down cities in America because of George Floyd. So, but America doesn't show you that, but they present us as in a bad light and make us also see that our our whole country and continent is really bad, the only place we can get salvation, we present it, yes, and that the only place we can get salvation is here. I don't know, Mr. Tokpa, if you live in Texas, if you know anybody, if you live in Texas, or if anybody lives in Dallas area.
I live in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta.
Okay, if anybody lives in Dallas area here, all they have to do is go to Oak Cliff. Go to Collins Street on Oak Cliff. In fact, one day I will go there. I will deliberately just do video. I will send it to Daddy Freeze. Because you know that when I was doing home health, I will have my husband take me because I can't go myself. That's how scary it is. In fact, if I go to Ajegule, I will still feel at ease. This place, that is how bad it is. My friend's husband is a sheriff, now police. If the guy would take his wife, even him sitting in the car, he would lock his car door. That's how terrifying it is. And those are the things that...
do you know the beauty of America is that you have a choice of where you want to live.
Where you want to live, yes.
You live in Texas and go and live in a very peaceful
exactly. But sir, but Mr. Tokpa, isn't that correct also something though? Yes.
Do the same job.
But how many Americans? But let me now ask you a question. You are speaking as an immigrant, and you know what pieces? You know that is something that irritates African Americans about Africans, black immigrants, as particularly Nigerians, because you know when Nigerians are coming, a lot of times we are educated, we have our certificates, and we know how to just navigate the system. Do you also know that American racism that we are even talking about in America that is institutionalized, they will give you a Nigerian that is a black Nigerian, they will give you a job before they give an African American a job.
I agree, and that's why they are more.
So that is why I said your earning power is not the same as an African American. You as an immigrant black person can go wherever you want. You earn more. Samaria, you agree with this. But an African American that lives here, that was born here, is in the same situation as Nigerians that you are talking about that are poor in Nigeria and have no alternative, no other place to go but to stay here.
Yeah.
You see, that is the thing. So we have choices, but it's...
But you know that what you are saying is different from what Daddy Freeze is saying.
No, that's what it's saying.
No, African American here are poor than some people in Nigeria. But immigrant African Nigerians or whatever, they are not poor like Nigerians living in Nigeria. Don't compare us.
No, the difference is this, Mr. Tokpa, the difference is this. The poor in America still have some social safety net that government has for them.
Yes.
In Nigeria, our poor does not have any social safety net for them. So even the hospitals, for example, now let me tell you this. I work in one of the nation's largest safety net hospital. And the truth is that if you are living in my county, in fact, as a matter of fact, my hospital is only supposed to be responsible for people that are resident in my county, but we take care of gazillion different other county residents, even from outside Texas, from Oklahoma, they come to my hospital. We still take care of them. We cannot deny them care. We still give them the care. And that is what is missing in Nigeria. A poor man in Nigeria can still not get the same level of care as somebody that is rich because they have the money and the resources. But again, a poor person in America that has a job is also not exempt from paying tax. No matter how poor you are, if you have a job, you're going to pay. In Nigeria, that is not the case. So as much as we want to say this, it's more complex and more complicated than this. Government can do more when it comes to offering social benefits and all of that. But as in the case of Nigeria, but like you said, if you are comfortable in Nigeria, if you are comfortable making enough money in Nigeria and comfortable, I'm not even talking about millions now. I'm not talking about making 20 million, 10 million, or whatever. If you are even making the 3 million you talked about, for example, let's even say that, which is not common. So if you are doing that, it will be okay for you to stay in Nigeria. The only thing that is making it difficult for people to stay in Nigeria is even without your 3 million, if you have to be paying one child's school fees for 1 million, you will not stay.
Do you know the reason why I'm talking about 3 million? It's because I'm done and dusted. Hello? That's the only reason why I'm talking about 3 million or even 5 million or whatever. It's because I'm done, I'm dusted. The 3 million is for me and for me alone, and to do my own charity what I want to do. You see, it's involuntary money that I want to spend for people. It's not because I want to build a house or I want to buy a car. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I said,
yes,
with even 3 million, I'm comfortable. You understand? But if you still have responsibility, you have to send your children to a private school. You have to send your children, and you have to go to, or you have a illness or sickness that you have to go to hospital, and you have to pay money to take care of yourself. You have to buy some drugs,
yes.
even some high blood pressure medicine. You know how much it is. Some people cannot even afford
Yes,
Let
I
me tell you,
understand that,
if you
sir.
have 3
I
million,
understand that, but
if
you
you
know
have
that what
3
is
million,
making it
hold on,
better for us,
hold on, guys.
that is
If you
free.
have 3
Okay.
million a month in
Mhm.
Nigeria, you
Yes.
can live in my estate. You'll be all right.
Yes.
Let me give you an example. Houses in my estate is 7 million for a year. That's the rent. So if you're earning 3 million, that's 36 million a year. Your rent is 7 million.
Yes.
You will live 3 million naira a month. You will live beautifully well in Nigeria. You can afford to travel twice a year to a destination of your choice with your children. Let me tell you, schools are expensive. Schools are expensive. For my son, I pay about maybe 800K term. That's about 2.4 million.
Yeah,
If you have 3 children,
how many people? How many
listen,
people have
no,
access to
I'm
even
calculating
the
the
3
3
million?
million for you. I'm
My own 3
calculating 3
million is
million
to go and
to
stay in my
tell you
village.
that
My own 3 million is to go and stay in my village. I'm not staying in Lagos. I'm
if
not
you
staying
take
in
3
Ibadan.
million to go and stay in a village, they will
But the
crown you
cost
king.
of living is the cost of living in your village is not the same cost of living in Lagos.
If you
The
have
cost of
3
living in
million,
Lagos
listen,
is
if you have 3
ridiculous.
million a month in your
Is to
village,
go back to
you
my
will be a
house
king.
in my village and enjoy myself. Yes, I'm a king already. I'm a king before.
Also,
Yes,
Mr.
for 3 million, because if you already have a
I think
house,
your
you
statement
will
on
end up
medication
dashing
and
people that
I
money.
think your statement
It will be
also
too
is
much for
misleading.
you.
The reason why I said that is this, Mr. Daddy, please wait. The reason why I said your statement, Mr. Topa, is misleading on medication is that a lot of people in America have insurance, whether their own private insurance they got through their job. Many people in America are insured through their job. Yes, so which means that their medication can be covered because they are already paying for it. My own family insurance here, me alone, I pay $700, and my job pays 2.5 of what I pay every month for insurance for me and my family, me and my husband and my kids. My mom's insurance, that government pays part of it because of her status, so she qualifies. And because I want her to get the distance, because I know the kind of her health condition, so she actually has I make sure she gets low deductible. So her deductible, by the time she gets her medication first month of the year, she's already met her deductible. So her deductible is $600. So I pay additional $200 for her every month, besides the 1,000 that government. So which means my mom alone, her insurance is $1,200 per month. So she
Okay,
gets
okay.
all of this.
That
Nigeria
means
doesn't
the
have that.
system, yeah, the system is working for you. That is not happening in Nigeria.
But people
The system
are not ready to pay
is
for the system to work for them. We also need to the fact
no,
of that too.
Don't get it distorted. People are ready to pay when the system is working. Look at it, and this is the way I want you to look at it. Anybody that comes from Africa or Nigeria to develop where the system is well established, they will obey the rule. They obey the rule to the letter. They pay everything they're supposed to. Why would they? Even their house rent alone, they will pay for their house rent. They can never miss it every month because they know that is the rule. You see, if we have the rule, if the system is well established, even breaking of a traffic rule in Nigeria, they will not break it. But because when they see people obeying this traffic, and you see some set of people not obeying this traffic, you see, the thing changes.
But
The
sir,
system changes.
I agree with you. But the thing is, these people that we are coming into their system, sir. Let me ask you a question. These people, there was a time that America too was a wild, wild west. And nobody was following the rule. Exactly. But at a point, they decided that they want a particular kind of lifestyle for themselves. And they made that conscious decision to follow the rules that is on ground, that they're going to pay for it because they don't want to be under any king or anything. This is the type of government they want. And they were ready to sacrifice and pay for that. Why should our people not be ready to do that? If our people cannot obey, if our people cannot obey common traffic lights, if our people always find a way to scheme the system. That is, if the little resources we have, if we are both people in power and the people not in power, if we are the little resources we have, if we are mismanaging that resources, why are we not taking responsibility? Until we take responsibility and accountability for our whole part in the mess, instead of trying to shove everything and saying it's an invincible government, it's all our own people in government. My father was in government. You have friends in government. You have family members in government. Our aunties, our uncles, our friends are in government. So government is not from invisible people. We are the government. Thank you very much, Maria.
It means until we have a collective responsibility towards our country, all of us,
sir. Yes, sir.
Those of us abroad, until we have this collective responsibility towards our country, that means we are not moving forward. But unfortunately for us, I used to ask myself, do we have the foundation right now? Are we even planning to lay the foundation? When are we going to start the foundation? We are not even talking about what's going to happen later. When are we going to start laying the foundation? Who is going to start it? Who is going to bear the cat? Who is going? Because there is no country that will ever prosper without having a decisive leader. Somebody must lead. Somebody must be in the forefront, and other people will follow. Everything that happened in history, either in Europe or in America or wherever, there is a leader. There is George Washington of this world. There is Obama of this world. There is somebody that will break it. Who is going to start it? We need to start. If we don't start, we are not going to build. And we cannot build on nothing. And that has been our albatross for ages now. Because we are not building on anything. So until we start building the foundation, when are we going to start? Who is going to start it? We need somebody, even when everybody will follow. In leadership, not everybody is going to be leader. But most people will be a follower. And they will follow the leader. And that's why most of us that call ourselves Christian, we follow Jesus Christ. Everybody is shouting Jesus Christ now because he laid the example and everybody follow. Muhammad, everybody follow Allah and Muhammad because he lays their own example for them and they follow. So we still need, no matter what we say, we still need a leader that will usher us out of this mess that we have. Until we get to that, then we start building the foundation because all of us, we have to join together to build the foundation that we need so that our country, we can have a little bit of sanity.
Mr. Steve,
all right. Let's draw this to an end. Everybody,
thank you, Daddy Freeze, for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
I want everybody to leave, and I want to ask Mama Tuzi some questions. Samaria, bye.
Bye, thank you.
If you're watching on TikTok, who's my #1 gifter? DJ Blaze, back to my #1 gifter. And who's my #2 gifter? BBB Hoke. That's my #2 gifter. Thank you so much. Keep popping those money guns. I got money guns from Dip Sailor, DJ 7 Golds, and BBB Miles 0007. Thank you so much. Keep popping those money guns on TikTok. TikTok is one of my... Hey, we're almost on 50K. We're on 43,900. Double click that screen. Oh yeah, double click that screen. I'm looking for my #1 gifter. Special shout out to my #1 gifter. You can see my #1 and my #2 gifter. Please follow them. Thank you for all of you who sent me stars. Jome, thank you so much. Dari Solomon, thank you so much. And every single person on YouTube who sent me super chat, super stickers, and super likes. I'm going to give you all a shout out as I end. Now, over to you. Why did you, as someone who lives abroad, why did you relocate? Why do you want to relocate to Nigeria to get a job in Nigeria?
I've always believed in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's any degree that I studied, any course that I studied in school that is not because of Nigeria. You know, I can share with you my statement, a personal statement of reason why, you know, for all my grad school stuff, I'm always saying is Nigeria. Even for my nursing school, I say it's Nigeria. Everything I've always done has always been, I want to go back to Nigeria. I want to make a difference. You know, some people might lose hope in Nigeria. I've never, not once, have I ever thought about, I've given up on Nigeria. When I came to United States, one of our friends then, Dr. Akishoto, I don't even want to call his name, in Alabama. I went to school in Alabama. His wife would tell me and my husband there, because he was my boyfriend, we met in college, and they would tell us that, don't worry, you people are doing gra about Nigeria now. By the time you are here for 5 years, you will forget Nigeria. Not me. I don't think there's ever any day or anywhere I go that I don't talk about Nigeria. I went to South Africa, you know, the international business class that I told you about. I went there, I was actually talking about Nigeria. And I was talking about how Africa as a whole can get themselves out of the mess by working together, not thinking their savior is a white man, but working collectively together and not doing competition amongst themselves. That is the only way they can get themselves out of the trouble. When I did my MBA, I said I want to do health management. And the reason is because I don't believe we don't have resources. We have limited resources. Are we given enough? No. But the limited resources we have is being mismanaged by who? The civil servants. Whether we like to admit it or not, these civil servants are our aunties, our mummies, our daddies, our uncles. So yes, it's not just that, the politicians that we see. We're talking about even civil servants. So for me, when I came here, like I told you, my father never sent me to America to go and stay and live forever in America and never come back. No, my dad sent me to school. Go there, get educated, and bring that knowledge to make a difference in Nigeria. But when I finished my pre-med, I said, I want to change to nursing. And my dad said, why? I said, because for me, I know I get bored easily. If I pick any part of medicine and I want to change course later on, it might be a bit difficult because I have to do residency. But if I do nursing, I can switch easily and everything. And my dad was never the type that chooses for us. He would just ask you a question. And he said, okay. And I went to nursing school. And then I finished my nursing school, and while I was working, I'm always liking to do anything quality improvement and all that when it comes to patient safety and all of that, risk and stuff. And then I said, I want to go back for my master's. And one of my doctor's faculty on the unit was like, why do you want to go be a nurse practitioner? Because that was what I wanted to do. And she said, but I said, because I want to be at the table where policies are being made that affect particularly women and children. I said because Nigeria have one of the highest number of maternal infant mortality in the world. And I want to be at the table when they are making rules that affect women's health. And she said, I think you should do your MBA, MPH, because you don't need to be at bedside. You need to be on the table. So I did my MBA and I'm doing my public health. I'm in my public health. I'm going to UC Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley. That's one of the top schools for public health. And I'd never looked back. So everything has always had Nigerian undertone to it. And I hope that I get the opportunity because there are so many areas of opportunities in Nigeria. I've lost family members during pregnancy, during childbirth before. So those things actually influenced me. My father, he died in 2017. My dad had cancer. My dad had prostate cancer. It wasn't the prostate cancer that killed him. My dad died of lung cancer. But it's prostate cancer. When my dad first went to the hospital, went to Lut, the resident that was there told my dad that if my dad undergoes surgery to have the prostate removed, he only has 50-50 chance. Who says that to a patient, for Christ's sake? That scared my dad. My dad said, no, you won't do the surgery. So when they called me and told me, I said, okay, if you don't want to do surgery, did they tell you other alternatives? He said no. I said, go back and tell them that what about hormone therapy? When my dad went back and told that to the doctor, you know what they told? Yes. You know what they told him? They told him that we didn't know we don't know if you'll be able to afford it because it's expensive. Because the injection then was going to cost, I think Nigerian government also subsidizes that. The injection costs about 30-something thousand naira then. For one shot. So now, I told my dad was like,
therapy injection
yes,
costs 1 million naira a shot.
Imagine. Yeah. So my dad was on that for the longest time. And then we did that. And that's why I said it wasn't the distance until something came back. And in Nigeria there. So people don't think I don't know what I'm saying. In the same Nigeria, one of the consultants was doing his own side business and did a butchered job of surgery that when my dad came, and he went to see his doctor here. The doctor was even confused, like, what did they do to you? In fact, procedure that never, in fact, the last time they did that in a civilized world was in the 70s. The doctor was confused, was trying to find, like, what did they do? This doctor in Nigeria would not even give my dad the name of medication that my dad was taking, the pill that he was having my dad take. He wouldn't give them. But when they got here, when he was on admission in the hospital, I called and I said, this is Yetune Yusuf. I'm so-so's daughter. And I need his medication name now because his doctor needs it. He emailed the record immediately. My mom knows that. My mom goes to public hospital in Nigeria because people will be thinking that my mom goes to some rich hospital. No, my mom goes to, because if there's one person in Nigeria that I still have utmost respect for, is the person that sees my mom in my L0st center, Dr. Ikpaye. That man retired and then came back to service just to serve Nigeria. His children are doctors in Canada. Every time my mom is going to Nigeria, I'll be like, let me get some baby stethoscope or something. Let me buy. Please give it back by you. Because he knows what he's doing and is very knowledgeable. Unfortunately, Nigeria will kill your skills and your talent. And if we are not fighting, I know that when people like us that live overseas are saying that if everybody in Nigeria moves out of Nigeria, then who is supposed to fix Nigeria? They tell us, oh, come back home, then come and fix it. You forget something. I cannot, in good conscience, pick my children and come to Nigeria, not even having even $50,000 to say, I want to come, bring it to Nigeria to get us settled and make sure I, at least let them be comfortable. As a mother, I would never do that. So that is if I don't have children, I will be in Nigeria already. But because I have children, I have a husband. My husband doesn't mind moving to Nigeria. By the way, we're already talking about moving to Nigeria, but we have to consider all those things. But I'm a passionate person when it comes to Nigeria. I will always advocate for Nigeria. I will always sell Nigeria in positive light. I will always fight for it because everybody I see, I can tell you categorically, people in my class, my MBA class, these are Arabs with money to invest that want to come and invest in Nigeria. That are saying, we need to talk.
Hey.
That is the truth. I'm not lying.
All right, Mama Tuesday. Lovely hosting you, and I just wanted to hear your perspective. Thank you all so much. It's been a very insightful. 2 hours 35 minutes. That's how long we have been on for, and I must say I enjoyed every minute. We learn from one another. Sometimes the way I pass my points across can be very harsh, but I also need you to understand that I believe I say the truth as much as I believe it and understand it, and I believe that the truth will set us free. I've said this, and I say this over and over again. 90% of Nigerians abroad will come back home if Nigeria was working. 90% of Nigerians abroad are there because of financial reasons. Which means if your finances improved in Nigeria, you could come home. Abroad is very lonely. Like this other gentleman said, 100% I can never fault him. Abroad is very lonely. And that's as far as we can go tonight. Lovely hanging out with you all. God bless you. Take good care of yourselves. And I look forward to hosting you again sometime soon. You don't bring them. All right, I go send you code now. Thank you, everyone. For those of you who sent me money guns and super chats and super stickers and whatever else it is that you send me on Instagram, thank you so much. Tosin Owolabi, thank you so much. You're my #2 gifter. Ray of Hope, thank you so much. DJ Blaze, my #1 gifter. Too lonely to stay and boring. Let me follow you. I always follow my #1 gifter on TikTok. So I'm following you, bro. Thank you all so much. Instagram,
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mama Tuesday. Thank you, YouTube.
Thank you, sir.